All right. We did unlock a path down here, but we don't care. We don't. We don't care. We're going back to Greengrass. We're going back to Greengrass. What were we doing here? Oh, we did like we did the low level ones. Like the 250. I mean, we need to do them all. You know what? We'll do this 250 one. Half empty crypts for Penelope. We've qualified. We have one qualification for Vajra now. We have one qualification for Vajra now. Where does? Oh, is he not? He's not in this formation. That's all of these, and we got to switch to this. Alleyway. No, yep. This is before we got some of this. Okay. Okay. Human. Up here. Oh, and one more person? Maybe Penelope? Half fine? Who do we have? I don't even know. Penelope was in the middle. Penny in the middle. There we go. Okay, this is what we want. Oh, God. This is before we started saving this stuff even, right? No. We're going to do this, and we're going to do this. Okay. All right. It's like generic? No. Don't have save feeds. Okay. The difference a few days makes, folks. So add the feeds here. Oh, that's right. I'll put it in just so he stops getting mad at me. Who else? Oh, Penelope needed a feed. And Dritz needed a feed. Yeah, we got one for that. Anybody else? Indeed. Go. All right. Override. All right. And. Ooh. No, I only have one left. We're not using it. Deal with it. We're slow. We're slow today. Deal with it. Get everybody leveled. Should have done Human first so I could hit that ultimate. Yeah. Right. So we come over here. We've completed 15 adventures in Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Yay! We don't care about any more of that. 30 champions. That's the next one. We do that tomorrow. That's the last thing we need for Vajra. What else we got going on? Anything that we actually care about? No, we're done here for a while. We'll be back over here soon. Yeah, okay. Collected 5 familiars. That's where I'm working on that. So here's our progress on Vajra. We now have 15 adventures in Waterdeep. Tomorrow we will unlock Orkira and have 30 champions. And then we will hit this button. And that'll take up 2,500 out of our 6,500 gems, right where I thought. We'll have a little over 4,000 tomorrow. So 40% of the way on the way to the Pixie. 40% of the way to the Pixie. All right. I only did one run in the time you did 3. Oh, well, I mean, I was using speed motion, and I wasn't very deep. There's one person on Reddit who keeps complaining that Elminster is horrible and should be changed. If they've made like this is their third post, they've done one a week, and it's always downvoted to 0, and they just don't. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying downvotes matter, but I mean when you get downvoted all the way to 0, either people hate you, or or they don't like your statement that you're making. Yeah, I've read through. I tried to look at it from their perspective, and I just don't like. All I get from their perspective is I don't like that I have to change. Like I have to invest into more than one group of champions. That's the way it read to me, and I'm like, that's not how this game works. I got downvoted to 0 on several occasions. Look, I get downvotes. Ultimately, I think there might very well be a. I mean, I'd have to go. I have no way to know. I think there might be a bot. There might be some bots that are just downvoting every post. That used to happen on an old server I was on, or yeah, an old Reddit subreddit I was on. That you would post something, and within minutes it would be downvoted multiple times because they just had bots running that would downvote everything. And I'm looking at the subreddit and I'm seeing lots of 0s. So we may just have a downvote bot or a few. Yeah, let me see. My guide to Greengrass, which look, these things should only ever get upvotes, right? Only 87% upvoted. What would that be? There's 23 upvotes, so there were multiple downvotes. There was a number of downvotes to get it to 87. I don't know what it would be. Out of 11,000 views. Let's see, Gale's Guide got 37 upvotes. But that's only a 93% upvote rate. So out of 15,000 views. Yeah. Like I think there's either people that go through and downvote everything, or there's bots that are downvoting things. I don't know which. Oh yeah, well the system isn't made for you to know why. Like first off, like upvotes and downvotes are pointless, but and even if they were like, if you wanna upvote or downvote, you need to comment, then nobody would upvote or downvote at all, right? Well, some people might, but yeah, I mean, I've said this before. Upvotes have no, or downvotes have no reason to exist, and even upvotes aren't necessarily an indicator of whether people enjoy your content. What you want to do is you want to look at how many views they get. So Reddit doesn't track views forever, but while you can see the tracking, if you want to keep track and look, if people are viewing your content, then you're fine. Then you're fine. And it doesn't matter if they're upvoting or downvoting or neither. So. I mean, I don't even like. I don't even open up. I will look at their posts and then I'll be like, and I'll read it. I won't even look at any of the comments, and then I'll just be like, am I going to upvote or downvote just based off what I've read? And then I move on. But I don't even always interact with it. Period. And sometimes I just read it and I'm like, that gets nothing from me. Most of the time I don't, because I'm not a community manager here. I'm not reading everything. understand if Elminster allowed only non-event. Well, that wouldn't make sense. Non-event champions wouldn't make sense. Champions from the last 3 years. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, last 3 years means a lot of really solid champions. But the thing is there, if I remember correctly, that person has like they've built their team around like an older play style that they got into years ago and never wanted to get out of, and it's like, well, that's not how this game works. Reddit has been dying. I don't think that's true. Maybe your use of Reddit has been dying. But yeah. Yeah, if you're getting thousands of views, then your post is fine, and it's just the upvotes and downvotes don't matter. So, like, there's only one case where that matters, and it's if it makes your like if you're just upvoted outrageously and you end up on the front page of Reddit. But we don't have that community, right? We're not that big. We don't draw outside stuff like that. So can't you just dismantle and then build up the new ones? Yes, but they don't. That's the thing. They don't want to. They have a group that they use, and that's all they want to use. They don't want to play the game any other way. That's a them problem. It's not a game problem. It's a them problem. That's why I just every time I see them post in it, I don't even have to read it. It just at the top, I can see the topic and their name and a downvote. Downvote. Because it's the same thing over and over and over again. And I have a problem when people don't get the hint, right? Like, once you do it once, and a lot of people don't agree to tell you they don't agree with you, and they tell you why, and then you do it again, and your post gets downvoted 0. And then you do it again, and it's like you can make the same statement, and the people are just like, "This is and people tell you again, this isn't it, and then you want to do it again. Like, no, dude, come on, why? This at this point, like, the game has moved beyond a place where you want to play it anymore, and okay, it happens. It happens with a live service game. So and this whole thing has come up again. I guess people are upset that there was a game that I think had an online component or whatever, and Ubisoft's pulling it because they don't want to support the servers for it anymore, is my understanding. If I'm misunderstanding this, someone can correct me. And it's a 10-year-old game. And people they're like, why? And the whole thing is like, we don't own games anymore. And it's like, it wasn't a purchase and then play on, like, if it has an online component, if there's any kind of online component that has to be maintained. Yeah. If it's reliant on that to keep it going, then at some point it could shut down. Yeah, you don't own that game. Is it The Crew? Yeah, I knew it was like a racing game, but and yeah, you don't own that game. You're buying the right to get access to play it. But once they can't afford to keep that server online, it's gone. It's gone. And I mean, maybe some of the people just haven't played games that have shut down before. I don't know. It feels like everyone should have played at least one. Well, no, that's being too broad. Some of the people I'm seeing complain about this are people who know better. But Yeah, and that's kind of like this one. At some point, this game will shut down, and all the money that you spent on it. I mean, you spend for the enjoyment in the moment. You spend your time and your energy for your enjoyment in the moment. And if you're thinking that this game is going to be around forever, no, no. It'll be around as long as it makes enough money for them to keep the server on, like to keep the servers up, and then it goes away. Well, yeah, Lurking Rider. I have that. I actually have that panel on my Facebook. Like that's my background on my Facebook. And the problem is so many people use that for from the wrong point of view, I guess. Like they don't understand who Captain America is and what that panel means, like what it's talking about. And this ain't it. This ain't it. This ain't what that meant. Yeah, McTribble, exactly. Well, for me, it's like on a live service game, it's like I'm spending money like I would if I were going to the movies. I'm getting enjoyment out of something that's only going to be around for a limited period of time, and then it's going to be gone. That's different from, well, I hope it's different from buying a game that is self-contained and that I can play at any point in time. Doesn't require hitting a server. Um, but even then, you have to recognize that as software, as like hardware progresses, it may not work on like future versions of Windows and stuff. Like we had that problem with Tropico 2 Pirate Isle. It had to have some, you had to fidget with some stuff to get it to work on a modern computer because it was made so long ago and they didn't go back. And I would love it. I would love for them to just go back and just make that game playable now. But not everybody does that, right? Not everybody takes that time to make sure their games or their past games always function on current systems. Are all games on Steam tapping a server? Or do you own any of them? Not all of them require you to be online, and you can figure that out by basically going offline on Steam and playing locally. Some will do, some won't. Like this one won't. This one needs a server, and we're in an ad break. And we're in an ad break. Uh, me breaking. New hot fix. Fix a number of potion contract issues introduced in the last version. Oh, there you go. There you go. Can we just skip it? Thank you for Twitch Prime sub. SailNet. Thank you for 26 months. I say this during the ad break because you're subbed, so you can hear me. Yeah. Yeah, GOG is it still referred to like good old games? Isn't that what it was really supposed to be called originally? It was all about older games that you could then play on modern stuff without needing all of the whatever you needed to prove that you owned it. But even now that doesn't always apply, I think, over there. I don't remember. I don't know. I have some games over there and then I stopped using it. Yeah, nowadays a lot of the terms of use mean you don't own anything. But again, most of the time you're connecting to a server, at least for authentication. Yeah, authentic. Whatever. They're making sure you. My brain doesn't want to work. Authentic is a thing, but so is authentify, isn't it? Good lord. It is, but it's not really okay. You're authenticating that you own the. There is an authentify, but it's for something else. You're authenticating that you own the game, like that you're not just pirating it. And so they loved those connect to the server just to make sure you own it, and then you go play the game. I may, but see, here's the thing. Yeah, verifying, but there are there's like a company called Authentify, and I don't know why that's in my head, but it is. I guess good job them. They got in my head because that's all I can. That's what goes through my head when I'm thinking about authenticating something. What issues were there with potions and contracts? There was a thing with clicking them like it wasn't. I don't know. I didn't patch that patch. Somebody in chat can explain it. There was a weird thing. Yeah, exactly. I mean, people think they own their house. People talk about, oh, I bought a house. No, you didn't. You have a mortgage. You have a mortgage first off, and then it's so nice that you have that house. Is the land tax free? So no, you're renting the land and anything on it. No. Have you do channel for VODs? Yes, it just got linked. Yeah. Although, well, you get. I mean, you get to use the land as if it were yours, but if you don't pay your property taxes, if you're in a state and this is in the United States, if you're in a state that has property taxes, because not all states do, then you're still paying the state every year, and if you don't, they'll come take your house as collateral because you didn't pay your taxes. There are states that don't have property taxes, though. My uncle was very much about saving up as much money as he could, and then when he retired, he was gonna sell his house that he had fixed up and lived in forever, and move to a state that didn't have property taxes, so he wouldn't have to worry about property taxes ever again, and he'd just have a home and the land and could live there and not have to worry about it, and what money he'd saved up went towards his retirement. But yeah, like this home that I'm in is owned, but we have to pay property taxes every year, which is like I mean, I just consider it rent. I just consider we pay rent every year, and you can split it up into monthly payments, but still rent. You're still renting. I need to patch this so I can click through that. Explain why I am paying taxes for your house. You're paying taxes for your property in the United States. You're paying taxes for the property because there's lots of public utilities. Well, there's supposed to be public utilities nowadays, not necessarily, that are hooked up to your house, right? Um, Even if you don't, I think even if you just own bare land, you still have to pay property taxes on it. That's just that's the government taking a cut. It's your state deciding how do they want to tax people. Do they want it to be wholly income based? Do they want it to be on property you own? Because the thing is some people will make a bunch of money, or maybe they go to work for someone, and then they get, and maybe somebody goes, here, instead of giving you money, I'm just gonna give you all this property. And there was a transaction there, and the government didn't get their cut, and the government's upset. So they just, generally you get taxed all across on all kinds of things, so that the government's always getting a cut of something, which is, and I'm not against taxes. I want to be very clear. I don't have a problem with taxes when the money goes to things that are beneficial to the improved welfare of everyone, and not just, you know, the 1%. I don't have a problem with that. It's just, yeah, people saying they own something when they have a mortgage. I'm like, you don't own that. I just bought a new car. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. I've bought new cars repeatedly in my life. I've literally gone and paid cash for the whole car. I owned it. It's mine. But most people, so many people have never actually owned a car. They've had cars that they paid for. They never actually owned it because they usually trade it in before they pay it off. And then they're paying on a new one. Like, man. It blew my friend's mind once. He was like, "Oh man, if you come out here for this job, you gotta get an electric, like, or you gotta get like one of these hybrids. You'll save so much money every month. Uh, yeah, so much money." And I'm like, "No, I won't." He's like, "Yeah, no, I'm saving like $200 a month." I'm like, I wouldn't save any money. Why wouldn't you save money? Because I'd have to buy a new car, and I currently own my car, and that means suddenly I have a car payment and a higher insurance to pay, because now I'm gonna have to have full coverage on a newer car, only to save a little bit on gas. That doesn't save me any money. He's like, oh, oh yeah, because it just, for a lot of people, it just doesn't cross their mind that, oh, you own a car, completely own a car. There are places where you can buy houses on leased land, yes, but that isn't what I was referring to. Yeah, I mean, your property taxes go to pay for your fire stations, yes. Also for emergency services like ambulances and police, law enforcement, and all that stuff. But also utilities, partial of utility. I mean, you pay utilities, but yeah. And then you still register the car every year. Yeah, but depending on where you live, some places that's next to nothing compared to like property taxes. It just depends. And again, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. Um, yeah. So people think they own a star. Yes. Oh, they bought me a star for my birthday. No, they didn't. They bought you a piece of paper. They bought you a piece of paper. You don't own a star. You can't move to that galaxy and be like, this is mine. But that's a whole other problem. That's a whole other problem. That's like pet rocks from the 80s. Like, that's a whole other problem. Favorite I did was a good choice. I can buy all the speed upgrades on Area 1. Nice. Yes, that is always great. Well, Trontonia, yeah, we're not. But you could say you bought a star, but from who? Nobody owned that, and arguably nobody owned the land we're on. But then governments came in, right? And said, "Oh no, that belongs to the government." Does it? Does it? And then we're that's before we get into the whole indigenous uh, tribes issue with that statement in the United States. I am. All right, what do we got to get to? 250. Yeah, that's without speed potions. This takes a little while longer, but that's fine. We'll get another. We'll get a Penelope gold chest from this run. Tomorrow we will probably do another one of these, whatever the 250 is for whoever we have left. Who else did we still need? I think Spurt needed a 250 maybe. Whoever we didn't do oh no, Gale needed a 250. And then after we complete that, we'll unlock Orkira, and then we'll unlock Vajra, and then we'll do Vajra stuff. Just enough Vajra stuff to get a time gate piece. Yeah, I feel like this whole line of conversation could be brought to you by Fallout, the TV series, now Amazon Prime, because boy, oh boy, that final episode really just hammers this whole conversation home. Yeah. Uh huh. Uh huh. Uh huh. Yeah. Oh god, now I don't know. Oh, okay. I'm like, what am I watching for TV? We just finished Fallout. What am I watching for TV tonight? And then I remember we've got stuff that's been recording on the DVR. Oh yeah, Walton Goggins did amazing. Yeah. So I'm really hoping for a season 2, mainly because like from the beginning I wanted uh more Walton Goggins, and I feel like that's the only way. I feel like the next season would maybe give us a lot more. There's a lot of stuff I want to know. I need season 2. An actor, not less. Cooper Howard is who they played, right? Wasn't that the name? Cooper Howard? I think so. Cooper, yeah. I mean, everybody goes back and forth on bingeable episodes. I don't. I mean, I don't know. I think it's fine watching them all at once. I think it helps a lot of people to stay connected to what's going on. But there are also just a lot of people that have been raised with shows like this. You only get one episode a week, and just because something was always done that way doesn't mean it always needed to be. So I don't really have a dog in that fight. I'm more of I just want to make sure that the actors and the writers and the directors, everything, are getting paid properly and getting rights, and that people don't just, and that streaming services don't just shut down a successful franchise because it got to the number of seasons where they'd have to give everybody a raise. Like, screw those people. I mean, possibly Lurking Rider. Nathalis, I mean, Cooper Howard, the cowboy. I don't want to. This is a spoiler free chat. I'm not going further than saying it's Cooper Howard, the cowboy from the very beginning of the first episode. I want more. I want more of that character. Yeah, they did a great job. Every time they were on the screen, I was like, this is good. This is good. I like this. I'm not saying the others didn't do a good job. I'm just saying like they really did a good job. Yeah, that's what kills me, Raflin. Like, yeah, you cancel the show, fine. But then they're like, we're going to remove it from. People are watching it like crazy, but we don't want to pay residuals, so we're taking it off. Like, oh, hate it. Hate it. Hate it. Well, that's fine, Dice Goblin, but I can't. I'm not going further than that, so. Like, if you want to know more of what we're talking about, you'd have to just go read the spoilers on like a wiki or something. You can't. I'm not going to put them out here. The dog was great. The dog was great. I thought the writing was really well done because there were times where I was like, "Oh, they're so dumb," and like whenever you get me that like frustrated, they did a good job writing the character as someone who's dumb, and there's just or naive, right? And there's a lot of naivete and stupidity uh, from some of the characters, and they just got me so frustrated. So they did this. They did that right. They did that right. Still waiting for this to say, needs 3 time gate pieces. Like this tells you how to unlock it. This needs to tell you how to unlock it. And I'm also still waiting for this whole UI to be accessible from the map screen. It kills me that it's not. I will say, one of the neat things that I didn't even realize was in the game was that you can now just, like, from the one you're in, you can hit this, reset and start objective. And it works fantastically for me. Love it. So I just got to get used to doing that now, but I still want that UI available from the map screen. But that functionality works. I've found it work real well so far. once we finish this, we got to get, oh, geez, another 65 areas. Again, I'm gonna set up just a basic gem farm, looping gem farm with this core. So we'll set it to like 30, area 30, and just a couple champions because I only have a couple familiars, and I will now leave that when we go offline. So when we start, we'll see what we earned and start the next day. Yeah, the Pip Boy was pretty great with the sounds and the animations. Like it did the stuff and everything. You had stim packs. The vault doors were great. Yeah. Did I know Ella Purnell is a Brit? No, I don't really. I don't really pay attention to where people come from. I mean, I'm lucky if I don't always pay attention to who the names of all the actors are, but and actresses. But I definitely don't pay attention to where they come from. Yeah, I did see the hacking minigame. I was like, oh my god, that's not how. Oh. I mean, if you've got to show hacking in a show, like in a TV show or something, I mean, they never show it right, but at least this was canonically correct, right? It's not how it works. No, I don't have Melf. No. I'm using all the speed champions I have. This is not. There's no speed champion here. There's no speed champion here. There's no speed champion here or here or here. Oh god, if they do the lock picking, I'm done. Like that's just. They better make it. They better make like and watch it break, and then have to do it again. And the thing that made me like just cringe repeatedly was uh, the deviled eggs and the oysters. Like just what? What? Like I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Did I watch the end credits in each episode? Not all of it. No. I watched just part of the pictures that would come up, and then I'd shut it off and go to the next one. Again, as somebody who only played one game, I wasn't going to get all that stuff. So. Right. When does that come out? Next big book for D&D is Vecna, Eve of Ruin. Like it doesn't. This isn't telling me when it drops. So maybe we'll over here. May 21st. Well, it's not that. They're doing it early this year. Okay. That's right, because they're releasing the new player's handbook and all that stuff later in the year. Notorious Lich Vecna is weaving a ritual to eliminate good, obliterate the gods, and subjugate all worlds. To stop Vecna before he remakes the universe, the heroes work with three of the multiverse's most famous archmages. Travel to far-flung locales and rebuild the legendary Rod of Seven Parts. Oh, that'll be fun in Idle Champions. That'll be fun in Idle Champions. Well, that may very well be Maxi Cubert. That may very well be as well. I can see the trailer. It says we're going to like all the places. So like, old and new. Wait, hold on. Let's see it again. Journeyed over 6. Over 6. So 7? 7, yeah. I only see 6, actually. Planescape, Spelljammer, Eberron, Ravenloft, Dragonlance, and Greyhawk. Yeah. Embark on an epic high-level adventure for character levels 10 to 20. So it's going to be, should be a hard campaign. Over 30 menacing new monsters. So new art in the game, folks. Nice. Nice. I mean, it's not going to satiate the people who want satiate whatever. The people who want, actual campaigns in those locations, but tell WotC to make a new campaign book for it. Primary campaign book. I know there's been some like secondary stuff, but we only ever get the primary one. No. Click damage. Yeah. 254, and we only got to go to 250. Almost there. All right, make trouble. Thanks for hanging out. If you heard me. Okie dokie. Oh man, I can't stop yawning today, folks. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. We had a like, I could definitely tell there was a pressure front that moved through, but I kept waking up every few hours. That's probably it. Is getting Antreus a lot of item levels worth it since he shares the seat with Karlach and Crux? I mean, these are vastly different champions, so potentially. I mean, I have my Antreus has, I think, 1,000 on his Suave and Sophisticated, but then my Karlach has 1,000 on her health, and Crux is just soaking up whatever he can get. Because I still use Antreus a lot. Antreus is really strong, especially if you need shield somewhere, like in those variants where you're taking percent max health damage all the time. So, I think so. Yeah, once we hit this, once we get to 250, it will be out for today. Even though we're ending a little early, there's just nothing we could get done. We'll set up that gem farm and call it a stream. And then we'll go figure out what's happening for dinner. We had chili dogs last night with leftover chili that I made on Saturday. That was good. That was good. Yeah, the key with Entrees is you have to build the formation so that inspiring song lights up everyone. If you can do that, he's a powerhouse. If you can just get close, he's still really strong. So the more item levels you have on him, the more leeway you get with how, like, do you get all the way there or just maybe like 7? Like, item levels are going to help keep him really strong, even if you don't get all 10. But then you wouldn't use him in somewhere like, is it Xerixis that has the NPC in the middle? Because he doesn't jump. His inspiring song won't jump the NPC. You say Entre? He mops. He has a mop ability. Yeah, that's suave and sophisticated. Suave and sophisticated is a mop. Which is why you want to put a lot of item levels on. Yeah, it's just you got to spread inspiring song. He multiplicatively stacks his buff based off the number of people that it's active on. So you want to spread it to the entire formation. I used to call him, he's a man spreader. But in a good way.